Hey guys, how you going? Okay guys, sorry about last night's video. I was a bit off, and am again tonight. Obviously this is the third go it's taken me to do this, so okay, from 6% Aussie Patriot at OzPatriotXXX, the United Nations are in panic mode. The World Health Organisation are in panic mode. The Australian government are in panic mode. The mainstream media keep getting caught out in lies. Daniel Andrews has just moved his family to Queensland, which is 2 states away from the state he runs. So nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Who else knew that Daniel Andrews has just moved his family to Queensland? Did you know this? Okay, and this one from 40 head at 601_404. It's going to be biblical. I guarantee you at the end of this thread will blow your mind. I've been watching Australia and New Zealand since the posts first brought them up. We learnt that these countries belong to Five Eyes assisting in the illegal spying operation against the president. So what countries make up the Five Eyes intelligence group? Well, there's actually 6 now, but it used to be Canada, the United States, Australia, New Zealand and the UK. Today it's now called Five Eyes Plus Denmark. In this thread we'll be focusing on Australia and New Zealand. I ended up writing numerous threads on the drops that the post gave about both New Zealand and Australia. You should know these countries are separate and Australia does not control New Zealand despite popular misconceptions. New Zealand is a sovereign nation, and they are. Despite the fact that they do not have intertwining governments, they are very closely related among the people. Residents of both countries often own property in the other country and often visit the other country. There is a very close-knit history between them. Unfortunately, each thread I formerly quoted in this piece is now suspended. The biggest takeaway is the board says that the DS will end up running to those 2 countries to hide when all of this goes down. When we started digging early on, we found out that the Clinton Foundation, the Podesta Group and numerous Hollywood movie stars have purchased large section of property there. The DS has infected their governments and began rendering them to a liberal nature. Before we kick this off, you should know that Australia and New Zealand are 2 of the largest trafficking hubs in the world, and they are also the most direct locations to fly to Antarctica. I'm sure most of you remember threads on things going on under the Down Under. Unless they all come back, there will forever be rumours about what happened over Christmas in 2018. What happened over Christmas in 2018? Maybe they're all meeting in Antarctica? Is there a shrine to Satan down there? Watch for earthquakes around Australia and New Zealand, seriously. News reports say at least one of the Christchurch MK Ultra victims was from Australia. He made John Podesta's tweet just 2 days before. This made John Podesta's tweet just 2 days before the event seemed quite suspicious. And John Podesta wrote, "Ran along the Yarra River in Melbourne, Australia. Felt good to breathe the fresh air." The truly creepy thing is Podesta had spoken previously about how juicy of a target that New Zealand was. I remember that. He made the statement and many Anons jumped on it. Then 50-something people are killed in a mass event as Podesta was visiting close by. Take note, New Zealand. Take note, the New Zealand MK Ultra victim claimed in his manifesto that he had neither intended to carry out this attack in New Zealand or carry out the attack when he did. He said the group agreed to move it up and to change the location. He never articulated who the group was. Why was the US military in New Zealand on a training exercise, assisting a private aerospace group in launching US military sites into orbit? This one will knock your socks off. And there's a video, a little article with a video. There's not much to the article though, but You'd have to watch the video. I won't put it on here because I don't want to get have any problems. What happens when immigrants are allowed to invade a country? Targets for trafficking are made numerous and property values drop. Well, no, it's actually made our property values rise, which makes buying up property much easier and cheaper. No, they actually... It made properties rise in price. It didn't make them drop. But they did... The Rothschilds bought out Jenolan Caves, which is a big area up here in the mountains, a bit further out towards the west, and it has caves all through it. Okay, so there's a ton of DS players headed to Australia. There's an article there from the Daily Mail. Australia's population is growing faster than the US and the UK due to migration. Sydney and Melbourne are expected to become as populated as London and Hong Kong, with a government report suggesting Australia will gain 11.8 million people by 2046. I brought you an exclusive story due to a very limited but good source knowledge about a major arrest that was going to go down in Brazil before it happened. What ended up being learnt after that operation was a massive treasure trove of information. The two men who were arrested are from the Ndrangheta crime cartel or mafia out of Italy. They're the biggest cocaine traffickers in the world, and I can't say that word. The crime family has been laundering money through the Vatican for decades. This was unknown to Anons until my post. And wouldn't you know it, the Vatican was running that crime family's laundered money through their banks in Australia. And I'm wondering if it's a Westpac bank, because they were just done for laundering or letting people launder money through. In addition to that, we found out that the Vatican has been running that group's laundered money through many American banks as well. But what may have been the most disturbing thing is third in command of the Vatican, Cardinal Pell, several years earlier had mysteriously been charged and convicted and turned over by the Vatican to Australian police for bogus child molestation claims from over 20 years earlier. With the only victim reversing his accusations before the trial started, it was obviously a setup from the beginning. Why would they do that? Because Cardinal Pell had just discovered that the Vatican was laundering that crime family money through Australia. So this was only the second state dinner Trump had hosted, April 24th, 2018. It was massive. Red carpet and all. A scene was made on purpose. The president entertained leaders from the very same Five Eyes group that helped Obama spy on the president's 2016 campaign. Think of everything that I've written, but most of all, I want you to think about the fact that these similarities tied together so well and helped to prove the truly demonic and evil allegiance the DS cabal maintains. While Obama was 44th POTUS, Australia was also in their 44th administration. We talked early on about who was in the Australian government during Obama's administration. What's their connection with the DS? Family ties? Agreements? The Honourable Abbott and Turnbull. There you go. Julie Bishop. Eric Abetz, who was Minister assisting for the Prime Minister for the Public Service. George Brandis, Ministry for the Arts. I'll be looking at him. Treasurer was Joe Hockey. Minister for Agriculture was Barnaby Joyce. Education and Training was the Honourable Christopher Pyne. I don't think they're not honourable at all. Minister for Indigenous Affairs was Nigel Scullion. I'm not calling them honourable. Ministry for Industry and Science was Ian McFarlane. Social Services was Scott Morrison. Communications was Malcolm Turnbull. Susan Ley, MP for Health and Sport. Small Business was Bruce Bilson. Trade and investment was Andrew Robb. Defence was Kevin Andrews. Environment was Greg Hunt. Immigration and Border Protection was Peter Dutton. Finance was Matthias Cormann. And then you got the Outer Ministry. I'm sure you don't want to know about that. If you do, I'll put this down below anyway, because you can have a look at the links. What does all this mean? What could be the connection between Australia and New Zealand and the DS cabal? Well, besides what I've already said, it's important to understand how history shows these people going country to country, establishing banking systems and influencing their governments. They set up their own liberal agendas that facilitate easy access to innocent children and allow for shipping of trafficking of goods and people. But is there something more sinister? Is there an ancient history that ties into this? There just might be. I started this thread telling you it's going to be biblical. On the southernmost tip of the southern island of New Zealand, there is an icon known to tourists who visit New Zealand and Australia. It's called the Wanaka tree. Nobody knows where it came from, nobody knows how it grew, and it's become a sort of a mecca for visitors to the southern hemisphere. You must understand that there is a very real religion, almost cult, that follows this tree. Apparently on Instagram there are millions of photographs from visitors and tourists who've made the extra special trip to go down and photograph themselves or the amazing and beautiful sunsets with that Wanaka tree. It even has its own geolocation on Google Maps. The word Wanaka is where I'm going with this. It actually comes from the region where the tree is located. The tree is actually in the water, several metres offshore. You actually have to walk through the water to get it. It's out in the bay. Watch the water. The idea is this tree was able to grow up from under the water and emerge and grow 15 to 20 feet above the water is somewhat dumbfounding. Again, there's only speculation of how this tree actually began to grow. Nobody knows for certain what exactly led to this tree growing where it is. Again though, it's the name of the tree that is truly interesting. The Wanaka tree was named after the region it resides in. The proper spelling has been changed over time. That Wanaka region was named after a Maori chief named Anaka. That chief was named after the ancient people that occupied that region. His name had been changed slightly to make it match their dialect. The original name of that region was Anaka. Is there any more? Oh, yep. Wanaka was from Owanaka, which is from Akaka, and it literally means the place of Anaka. You ready for this? Anaka is a Hebrew word that is used in the Bible. In its original form, it was Anakim. Anybody know where this is going? If you know about the origins of the Hebrew people and the land of Canaan, you know immediately that the name Anakim is incredibly meaningful. You guys are not going to believe this. The Anakim were part of the race of giants, the extremely evil culture called Nephilim. The Anakim occupied the land of Canaan before the Israelites were given the order by God to go into their promised land and wipe out their evil and demon-worshipping, human-sacrificing, sexual deviant giants, the Anakim, the Canaanites, the Amorites. Do you understand what this means? The Cabal, the DS, the most evil people in our society are moving their demon-worshipping, where'd travelling come from? Child-sacrificing family and friends to a region that is named after a very evil people, some of the most evil people in biblical history. Now here's the kicker. I wrote a thread that details the similarities between Jeffrey Epstein's temple and the history of where his design came from and who was responsible for it and how their actions patterned the Canaanites and the Amorites. It showed how their sacrificial system and the demon god that they worship, Moloch, has been the focus of secret society worshipping for thousands of years. Here's that thread. And it goes off into another thread. And here we are with yet another fact that ties this group into the Canaanite and Amorite background. You guys, this is no coincidence. Now guess what happened on March the 18th, 2020? Somebody has gone to the Wanaka tree and cut off the lower limbs and dragged them to shore. There is apparently a worldwide outrage that somebody did this. I wasn't kidding with you when I told you there is millions of people in a cult following regarding this tree. The fact is, somebody came in and cut the bottom limbs from this tree. The branches were found discarded on the shore. Local photographer Louisa Apenui called the vandalism heartbreaking, especially given the negative news at the moment surrounding the outbreak, which has heavily impacted tourism. New Zealand's famous Wanaka tree, a symbol of hope, vandalised. Branches of the most famous tree in New Zealand appeared to be hacked off with a saw, devastating locals. And there's another. The fact that somebody cut these limbs off may be a huge and significant piece of symbolism. If this tree truly represents the Anakim and its ancestry to these DS Kabbalists, having this tree desecrated and vandalised in this manner could be absolutely huge. Think of everything that I've written, but most of all, I want you to think about the fact that these similarities tied together so well and help to prove the truly demonic and evil allegiance the DS Cabal maintains. This discovery of Anakim history will help explain why the giants of New Zealand were there after all. Remember too, this is the base of the Pacific's Ring of Fire. And then it says, remember these. Oh, there's an error. There's no link on that one. Well, I hope this has been informative and thorough. It's been a learning experience for me to research. Hope it was equally educational for you. God bless you guys. And that there was another thread in here somewhere, but I'll put the link down below so you can go and read it yourself. It does go into a lot of the biblical side of things, but I'll let you read that. Then there was this from Major Patriot at Major Patriot. It's almost like they're preparing for something. Okay, and here's a thread from Benjamin A. Bach. Okay. Thread, watch the water. Another one, watch the water. And sometimes these things have multiple meanings. They don't just mean one thing. Billionaires appear to be hiding out in their boats, many of them near Italy. Okay. There we go. It shows you there's one there. And this is the USNS Invincible. It's a research survey vessel. That's it there. Then Jeff Bezos' Flying Fox is down there. Look at this thing. And that's where he is. So this is like that flight radar. It tells you where they are in the Tyrrhenian Sea. It's at anchor. And Jeff Bezos' Flying Fox on the move, so it started to move. It was going from Monaco to Ponza. And the USNS Invincible was out of range in the Persian Gulf. Status is underway. And the Invincible on the move from Mina Solomon to unknown. Then USNS Trenton, naval craft, is there. Okay, and that's there. And that's the USNS Trenton, yep. Latest position was there in the Tyrrhenian Sea. They were moored. Then Nate Rothschild's Planet 9. Planet 9, yep, I've got that right. Dear me. And it was, there it is. Current position was the, I can't say that, I don't know what, Aegean Sea. It was anchored. Nathaniel Rothschild was on the move from Gokek to Bodrum. Axioma, Kendall Jenner, Malta, Kendall Jenner. There. In the Adriatic Sea, underway using the engine. Now this was only 16 hours ago, so, and that was 17 hours, so a day or two ago this was all going on. Kendall Jenner on the move from Dubrovnik to Parler. I don't know if I said that right. Eric Clapton. Why are all these yachts near Italy? What's going on in Italy? Eric Clapton. There he is there, near Monaco. Was it Monaco? Yeah, it looks like it. Eric Clapton. And this was 4 minutes before. What was that date? Ligurian Sea. Current port Imperia. Moored. Eric Clapton again on his way from Bonifacio to Imperia. I hope I'm saying these right, guys. Why are all these yachts near Italy? Why did Tom Hanks move to Greece? What is the Vatican notorious for? What statues are outside the Colosseum? What is the significance of entering into international waters? What is maritime law? How does maritime law impact trafficking? Have you heard of war castles yet? Why is WC notable? War castles. Check this out. What if I told you it's still a hot month in September? Epstein Islands to Hawaii. A related thread on Terramar and Friends, and I'll put this down, the link for this down below, so you can go and have a look at this for yourself. It just shows you it's the same logo. They all use this three-line logo. And is there any more to this one? Nope, that's it. There's this unroll there in a thread reader. So there you go, guys. What do you think of this? I have a funny feeling what we're seeing right now is deep, deep panic in everything. Victoria right now is deep, deep panic. Now, why has Daniel Andrews moved from Victoria to Queensland? Why has he moved his family? He runs Victoria. Why isn't he living in Victoria? Why isn't he staying there? And also, see, I have a lot of questions. Are all these famous people going to Greece and then going to sail down to Australia? Is that why they were trying to lock Victoria down, so they could sneak them in there or something? Or I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, guys. But this has got my brain working overtime now. Actually, the Sean Atwood thing got my brain working overtime. And I have to also talk about last night's video, because I could have done better with the Sean Atwood. I wasn't going to do it, just did it last minute. But I could have done better with that. And the first part as well, I want to talk about that. Okay, guys. I will leave it there for now, and I will be back hopefully tomorrow with another video. If I do not post for one day or something, it's alright. I'm just chilling, taking a day off, you know. It seems like I might have to get myself a new microphone. I don't think my microphone's going to hold up. I think this is about the 5th one I've had. So I'm going to have to really invest in buying a good one this time, I think. Okay, guys. Well, you take care, and I will talk to you hopefully tomorrow. Okay, guys. Bye.